What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. So, Be Messy in the chat says, Adam Schefter just said Davante Adams wants the Jets or the Saints. And this is a story that I would have never expected, but is suddenly starting to gain steam. Davante Adams has told the Raiders he wants to be traded. And of course he does. He has Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew throwing to him. And he should be in his physical prime, right? I mean, we've seen receivers go to Oakland and completely lose themselves, except for Rich Gannon was there. But I always think about Randy Moss. In his prime, kicking ass, goes to Raiders, comes an afterthought, goes to the Patriots, becomes a just certified first ballot, unreal Hall of Famer, sets NFL records. Davante Adams wanted to get the bag. It made sense. Go team up with Derek Carr, his old teammate. Maybe get out of Aaron Rodgers' shadow a little bit. Well, and then you got Aiden O'Connell throwing to you. So he wants out. The Raiders say they're open to it. And randomly, Derek Carr, I don't know, is that the factor, but here you go. Okay, so Adam Schiff says, 2 teams high on Davante Adams' wish list of places to land, if not at the very tops, are the Jets and Saints per league sources. So there you go. Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr. Quarterback said he knows. Makes sense. The question is, guys, and I don't think it would be, I mean, surely it's nothing above a 3rd-round pick, right?
So, Schefter actually yesterday, Schefter is a busy man, he said the Raiders would be considering some sort of trade offer that included a 2nd-round pick.
Okay. That makes sense for the Raiders to say second.
It's a 2nd-round pick and other compensation.
Yeah, I feel like teams are going to try to start at 3rd. I guess the question is for the Saints. As you're in a bit of a rebuilding mode, which the offseason clearly tells us they are, you did not do any of the contract shenanigans that you normally do in terms of reworking and extending vets. You really have not engaged with Alvin Kamara at all, which I don't like, but you haven't. You didn't make any big free agent signings. You are so, and even the Chase Young deal is a 1-year deal, right? You are so clearly trying to finally pay off some of that debt that you've accumulated on the cap by kicking things down the roads for so long. And so in doing so, you're at a time where you probably want to prioritize draft picks. However, you also so clearly need another weapon. We just talked about it earlier this week. I mean, you're okay if fully healthy because Olave, Shaheed are pretty good. They do different things. Alvin's awesome again. Taysom Hill would be that 4th weapon. But that lack of a 3rd receiver, Juwan Johnson's got you nothing, right? A.T. Perry and the Cedric Wilson, nothing. That lack of a 3rd receiver is killing you. And you may say, well, who cares about getting another weapon? You don't have an O-line. But if we're being honest, Kubiak's done a good job with the O-line. Look at last game. Injured to all hell, just a hodgepodge of a unit, and you put up 24 and run the ball that well? How much would it help Derek Carr if you had that 3rd option, if you had a Davante Adams? Now, I'll say this. I am always guilty of being like, 2nd-round pick? Hell yeah, dude, do it. Who knows if the 2nd-round pick's even going to be good? Davante Adams is good, right? I guess the bigger hang-up here would maybe be at a time when you're trying to get money off of the books in a lot of ways. Do you take on that Adams contract? Which, how many years would be left on that, Taylor?
I believe 2. I could be wrong.
And probably going to get more expensive each year. So if you did make this trade, you'd probably be looking at doing the thing you've kind of been avoiding, which is reworking the deal and moving some of it to voidable years on the back end, which maybe make an exception for Adams. But
so he's in the 3rd year of a 5-year deal, so he would have 2 more years after this. Yes.
If I'm the Saints, And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just being a prisoner of the moment. Maybe there's no point in trying to salvage this team. But I like to win, dude. I like to win. And there's no guarantees in going full rebuild. And you're not bad right now. You're really not bad. You are bad situationally. That's why you're losing some of these games. But a piece like Adams could represent literal changes on the win and loss column. So he's got 2 years, $72.5 million left, no guaranteed. So almost assuredly, whoever trade for him, it would immediately you would renegotiate the contract.
Yeah, because technically his base salary next year is 35, but like you said, the renegotiating.
He'd want guaranteed money. You could put voidable years in the back end, convert to signing bonus, all that shenanigans that Kai Harley and the Saints love to do. I would do it. I would go for it. I don't know if he maybe wants to go to the Jets more, or what he's thinking, but I would make the move and see what happens. I mean, you still have Olave, who wouldn't be terribly expensive when he comes to him to re-sign. Cheat as well. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I want to win. Dennis Allen, I mean, Dennis Allen probably want to make it, right?
Dennis Allen has to win now.
That's what I'm saying.
Dennis Allen
right.
can't plan for the future.
If it's up to Allen, he would definitely want to do it. I wonder where Mickey Loomis's head is at. Because here's the weird part about Loomis. Loomis is he's gone to the mat so hard for Allen that you would think on one hand he would really want Allen to succeed, and so doing everything he could to make sure that could maybe happen would be in his interest. But on the other hand, Mickey Loomis is as untouchable as a GM as you'll find in the entire NFL. So while his pride might get hurt if the Allen era ends up being a failure, it's not like he's going to suffer repercussions. Would you do it, Taylor?
I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Even if I have to give up a second and a third.
Ooh, second and a third.
Well, because they said second and additional compensation.
Yeah, but I figure that's fifth, sixth, maybe a player thrown in, something like that.
If you're Dennis Allen, you have to get this done. And like you mentioned, Mickey Loomis is pretty much untouchable. Even if he makes this deal and it doesn't work out in the long run, doesn't really impact Mickey Loomis.
That's also true. I guess.
Yeah, like you're saying, he wants Allen to work out, but if you make this deal and it doesn't work out, it still doesn't really hurt Loomis, so he has no reason not to.
So something to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. Is it worth, committing more to this year's Saints? I say yes. Because again, guys, the biggest disappointment in all this could end up being if this Saints team ends up failing, the DA era will be over, and almost assuredly Clint Kubiak will no longer be a coach here. And I think for this moment in time right now, you got a pretty special OC. And I would love to see what he could do if you added Davante Adams into the mix. And it might make you a little less Taysom dependent, which I know there's a lot of debate over how Taysom dependent are you. I feel like you kind of are I feel like he's kind of in the difference. I mean, look, Taysom's been available for 18 drives. They've scored 15 times. He's missed 18 drives. They scored 6. Correlation doesn't always equal causation, but there's enough there where any sort of weapon insurance, any sort of diversifying your weapons, I think could really behoove this team and Clint Kubiak and what he's able to do with said team. So I'd say go for it, man. Win this division. Try to at least. But, 2 have to tango. The Raiders kind of know you would be very, they know you're going to be a little bit desperate. Are the Jets there as well? How contentious, how competitive this thing get? Does the price get too high? Maybe so. But I definitely would not just say no simply because I'm in kind of a pseudo rebuild. Davante Adams, be very excited if it happened. We'll see, and we'll continue to update. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.